My twin sister and I were in the same science class in high school. Um, we were pretty smart and we were among the prefects in the school. So on one occasion, our science class, the geography class, was preparing for a field trip. We paid for the field trip, and our geography teacher emphasized on lateness. He said that everybody should arrive the school early in the morning by 7 a.m., that the bus was going to be there waiting by 7 a.m. Everybody would have been there. But on that very day, my twin sister and I, we woke up very early in the morning. We started preparing some meals that we wanted to take with us to the field trip. Normally we usually go very early to school. Our school assembly starts at 7:30 a.m. every day. So we were used to going to school early. But on that day, I don't just know what happened after the whole preparation, and my school, we usually walk a long distance from my house to school every day because my parents had no car to take us to school, so we trek. Then on that very day of the field trip, we got to the school only to find out that the bus had left. We asked someone we saw in the school. They told us that the bus just left some few minutes ago. We were there walking up and down, my sister and I. We were almost crying because we had prepared so hard for this field trip. We were waiting for the field trip. We've been longing to go there, and the field trip was going to be about tin mining, how to mine tin. So we were excited about the field trip. But when we got there, the bus had left us. So we were walking up and down. We didn't know what to do. We had no car. We had no idea of where the bus was. And then we're not used to phones as we have the phones now. There were no mobile phones there. So we had no phones to call to know where they were. But we were still there in the school with our food and everything. But luckily for us, the manager of the school, who happened to also be our physics teacher, was coming into the school with his car. He saw my sister and I, and he was not happy that we were late. He cautioned us at first and was like, "Why are you guys late? You had the time, and you are not supposed to be late." We didn't know what to answer because normally he's a disciplinarian. Every student used to be afraid of him, and we were afraid. So he told us to come into the car. So we got into his car. He had no phone to call the driver of the bus, nor our geography teacher to know where the bus was. But he told my sister and I to hop into the car. We entered into the car and he moved. He was just chasing the bus, but he didn't know where the bus was. But he knows the way to the state. The field trip was in a very different state from where we were, and it was a long distance. But we were in his car. He was chasing the bus, just driving very long distance, driving and in a high speed, and was looking for the bus. We just kept quiet in the car. We were with him. Then he was going, and not until when he had driven for a very long distance, we were just almost to the border of another state. We were able to see the bus. Then he increased the speed and was just using the horn in the car. He was horning for the driver of uh, the bus. He overtook the car, was pressing his horn and pressing the horn, horning for them until the my geography teacher and the students, they were able to recognize his car, and the geography teacher talked to the driver of the bus. The bus was able to stop. So when the bus stopped, the manager also stopped the car and told us to run to the bus. He waited for us. We ran into the bus and we entered into the bus. Then he left back to school while we continued for the field trip. And my whole classmates, everybody was excited to see us, that we were able to make it. And this singular help from the manager, who was my physics teacher, was very, very helpful. And it was because of his help that we were able to attend the field trip, and we learned a lot in the field trip. And I will always remain grateful to my teacher for helping us out. But without him, we wouldn't have been able to attend the field trip that taught us how to mine tin, taught about mining. That day, so many students were left behind, um, but we were able to meet the teacher, the physics teacher, who was able to help us out. And this is why I'm so grateful to my physics teacher, the manager of Gombe High School.